meaning behind Christmas. So here at Unity, we look at Christmas very differently. We are not going along the same lines as the Christian religion goes, right? We do not believe that Jesus was actually born in a manger and that they had the wise men and all of this. Matter of fact, we don't really know when Jesus was born. The Bible doesn't even have any accounts of his early life. So how did this all come about? Is it about the gifts? Is it about the food? Is it about the Bible? What's it all about? Is it about Santa Claus? How did this all start? And how did we wind up where we are here today when it comes to the Christmas holiday? What have we forgotten? What switch got missed down in the early days when it started out to be a holiday of growth and a holiday that we went inside and came into the light of the Christ within us? What happened that changed all of that? So we're going to kind of dive into the history a little bit here. So the sun was worshipped back in like the 6th century? Yeah, the 6th century. Perry probably knows all the history of this. And this is all new to me. This is one thing, as I do these talks and I dive into research, most of this stuff I'm not even aware of. So when I went in to research this, I picked up truthunity.net, Eric Butterworth's talks back in the 70s that he gave, and he dove into this, and he's one of my favorite writers. He's a Unity metaphysician that wrote many, many books, and so Saturn was what they worshiped. It was the worship of the sun. And this was a time when it was a pagan celebration that they had every year. And it was about worshiping the sun and praying for the crops that were going to come in after the winter season. So they had this big celebration. And they called it, now I hope I get this right, Saturnalia. I went and put the pronunciation into Google and practiced it, and it was gone as soon as I was getting ready to say it. So that's why you guys are here. So say that again.
Saturnalia.
Yes, Saturnalia. So we'll go into that. But look how, this is history. Look at what we see written in the stones of what that was all about. I just think that's so cool, how the sun that they worshipped, and today we have completely forgotten about that. And I don't mean worship as far as a god, but this was their god. And when we think about God, I think about the universe and the sun and the moons and the entirety of it all. So I thought that was cool when I found that. And then the Persian god, Mithra?
I've heard of Mithra, but Mithra, I don't know.
Okay. And all the gods have the solar disk representing the sun around their head, showing the sun worship was the earliest form of the religion. But look at this. The sun, and how, to me, the crown is that they knew of their power, that they were powerful beings, that they were not living outside of themselves, but they were living within that power within them and holding the world or whatever that encompasses it all. There's so much you can look in here. And then to me, that was like the letting go of, the release that we practice. And then bringing in that truth of it all, of being the all. So I read so much into that when I saw that. But that was another one of the gods that they worshiped. So this is how we got Christmas. Because this celebration was a festival just like we do. They decorated everything with wreaths. They had the greeneries up. The lights were all over. But the light was in representation of the sun, of the light that came through us and has us. And then they had the Santa image that would come down from the north and would bring them gifts. And I guess this is a representation of that person that would come and bring them all these gifts. So can you see how that looks just like what Christmas was? But where did we get lost? Where did we jump out of that and into the materialistic world? What happened? So Christmas started when this Roman, he was a Roman historian, that said that the winter solstice was around December 17th back in that time. And he was the one that decided, well, we'll have this Christmas and it'll be around December 25th. So he created this. So see how something can come down through history and get so translated differently from different perceptions? Harry, do you have anything to add to all of this? No, because I just learned this like this weekend, so I'm like kind of stuttering a little bit to remember everything that I took in. But Christmas came in, and the Romans with the Christians, it became about Jesus. That's what they turned it around to become about Jesus, this man that died on the cross for our sins. So this is something we don't believe here. If you do, that is okay. That's one thing I always want to stress. Your beliefs are your beliefs. I'm just telling you what we believe here through metaphysical thought. So now we have coming up here, tomorrow's our winter solstice. During the upcoming winter solstice, Jupiter and Saturn are lining up to create an incredibly bright ball of light, or what is known as the Christmas star, or Star of Bethlehem. Look at this star. This is us. This picture right here was given to me from Rad Shields. And he died and he came back and he came here in Evansville many times to share the light that he found and how we can have that light within us. And here's his book for any of you that want to do any of the work, Soul Transfiguration. Very good book if you want to work on your soul and just bring that light into your soul more. So I wanted you to look at the Star of Bethlehem. When we see the Star of Bethlehem, Bethlehem in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary is the house of bread, is the house of substance. So we are that house of substance, and that star is within us. That Christ's light is within us. So I'm going to take you to the Christmas Carol. This poor guy got a bad rap, didn't he? Ebenezer Scrooge. He got a bad rap. Because this story, when we look at it, when Eric Butterworth looked at it, said, man, they focused on all the bad in him. But think about it. This was the process, the unfoldment of a man into his spiritual transformation, into his inner awakening. What if the story had been focused on that to show us the process that we go through to wake up? He went back to his past. He had to see what he did. That's what we do here. We go back and we look at what we need to release, what we need to let go of, and then what the future would hold. And we can create that ourselves. But that's what that story's about. It is about a transformation that we ourselves experience as well. And I have been the Scrooge. I have been and done everything for my lower self. Alcoholic, drug, had affairs, you name it. I've done it all. But I know that I did that so I could have the compassion for other people. But also, it was part of my journey, part of my spiritual unfoldment, to come in to the higher self, to let go of that self and come into the higher self. That's what Christmas is all about. That's what that song was about, the darkness. When we're in the darkness, what do? We remove it and we cover it with the light, right? The darkness is just the absence of the light. And that's what goes on in the winter solstice. We go into a state of darkness, and then after that, the light becomes brighter and brighter and brighter, and days get longer and longer. It is all about spiritual unfoldment. That's what it's all about. That's what Christmas is all about. Every year we have another opportunity to come in and renew ourselves. Next week we'll be doing the White Stone ceremony, where we will release 2020, gratefully release 2020, and come into the new age of Aquarius. And so we have a new beginning now. Unity's going to have a new beginning. Individually we have new beginnings. But that's what Christmas is all about, the Christmas. So let's talk about giving a little bit. The art of giving is the art of living. You know, do you go around giving and thinking, oh, I got to buy this, I got to buy that. Oh, if I don't buy the mailman something, oh, what will he think of me? You know, always out here, okay, thinking about what we're supposed to do. Again, programming. I've got to give these gifts or I might be looked at differently, right? Always we're living from that programming. But when you give from the heart, you receive. That is the way the universe works. When we give from a place of love, we receive that back, right? He tells a story, Eric Butterworth, about if I give you $1 and you give me $1, we each have $1. But if I give you an idea and you give me an idea, we both have 2 ideas. That's how the universe works. It's when the ideas come through us as love, that energy that's generated in the giving. That's how it works. If we're giving out of guilt, what do you think you're going to create? Huh? More guilt. And you're going to create a lack, because the giving is not from the heart. It is coming from a negative feeling of guilt. So that's what we try to learn here, how important it is to be in a state of consciousness that is in alignment with the Christ principle. Okay? So the rebirth of Christ within. So I want to go to the Revealing Word, which is our dictionary for metaphysical terms. And let's see what this says. Christ, the birth of the Christ. Man is the bringing forth, the birth of God's ideas of man, the Christ of God. This is done through the quickening power of the word of truth. The birth of Christ is the beginning in and the inner realms of consciousness of a higher set of faculties, which, when grown to full stature, will save the whole man from ignorance, sickness, and death. So this is what Christmas is all about. It is quickening the soul and coming into the consciousness of the Christ within. Do you understand the Christ principle? When I talk about that here? Okay. Do you understand that, Nita?
Can you just briefly?
Yes.
The Christ principle, please?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll go back to the book.
All right.
And I'll get straight from the Revealing Word. Christ, the incarnating principle of the God-man, the perfect word of ideas of God, which unfolds into the true man and is blessed with eternal life by measuring up to the divine standard, thus fulfilling the law of righteousness. And righteousness just means right thinking. It's, some people have righteousness of thinking, more on a religious level. Christ is the divine man. And it's called the Christ because that's what Jesus obtained. Jesus was our demonstration for us to obtain what he obtained, to come into the Christ principle. Jesus is the name that represents an individualized expression of the Christ idea. Christ existed long before Jesus. It was the Christ mind in Jesus that exclaimed, "And now, Father, glorify thou me with thy own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. Christ abides in each person as his potential perfection. Jesus Christ, the embodiment of all divine ideas, exists eternally in the mind of being as the only begotten Son of God, the Messiah, or anointed one, and is the living principle working in man. Does that make sense?
There's a lot to unpack there.
If we just come in to the light, just to simplify it, when we come into the knowingness that I am one with all, Jesus obtained, the Father and I are one. So it's just coming into knowing that there's no separation, there's no duality. We are all one and the same. So that gives you a little bit of a simplified version. But it's just when we awake to that knowingness and we start quickening our powers. You know, we have 12 powers that we believe in. And so we start to quicken those abilities. And we come into a state of knowing that we are divine, that we are perfection, that we are not this body, but we are this beautiful light. I am a light unto the world. Okay? So that is the rebirth of the Christ within. We have another opportunity. And if you're astrology, and you go into the planets and the stars and everything, there is a heightened energy. Not just now. It's more so now than it's ever been. But every Christmas season, there is a heightened energy in the universe. That we have, we have so much assistance here when we are ready. If we just tap into that. Just tap into it. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Darkness will never overcome the light. The world is dark. We are the light in the world. We are the ones that light the world, that light up the universe. We are that star. As you see here, this is our true identity. We are a star. So when you're going through darkness, how do you overcome that? You become the light. You light that up with how you react. How am I reacting to this person? You know, I won't say who. Someone called me a false master, a false prophet, and I like what Julie told me yesterday. No one listens to a prophet in their own backyard.
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that.
A
And I was called.
not welcome in his own hometown.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, I'm called a witch and black magic. You know, all of these things. But how did I react? That is what matters. How did I react to that? Did I have to defend myself? Did I have to lash out? No. I handled it with love. I said, I love you. Gave the person a hug. Now, do I want to hang around them? No. But I reacted from that Christ within. Just like Jesus reacted to everybody that attacked him. I mean, can you imagine hanging on a cross and saying, forgive them, Lord, for they know not what they do? People do not know what they are doing. They do not have an understanding of how they are creating their reality and the power that they have within them, because they still come from a place of sinfulness, of separation. So how do we change that? We shine our light no matter what. And the more you practice that, the easier it will become. Because every time you do it, that spark of divinity in you will light up. You will feel it. You will know, I did the right thing. I came from that spark in me. And every single person has that spark of divinity in them. Everybody. I don't care what they've done. Hitler, whoever you want to put. They still have the spark of divinity in them. They just didn't know from a state of ignorance that they had that, or how to use that to change themselves and the world. Light is what we are, and love is how we share it. If you are in the Christmas spirit, this is what it is all about. It's not about the gift giving. It's not about the trees. It's not about coming together, eating dinner. Yes, those things are great and grand, and you can enjoy those if you so choose. This year, I so choose not to enjoy, to go out and get into energies that are not in alignment with me. So my Christmas is going to be very different this year. But I am excited about it because I'm living from my light. And I'm being the love, and the love has to begin with loving Lisa, with loving Nita, with loving Brianna, Sharon. It has to be a love for thyself. So if I am going against what my heart is guiding me to do, I'm in that darkness, right? I'm not in that light of my being. I'm not being loving to myself. So this is our choice this Christmas. What are you going to do? When you give, are you giving from the heart? Are you giving from a place of love so that you can acquire more of that? Are you going around people who you find joy with, who you feel love with, who support you, who are there for you? These are the choices we get to make every year. To come in alignment with that light, that Christ light. And when you do that, you will glow, and you will flow, and you will be the love. What it's all about. So, let's switch that switch in a different direction, and let's go out into the world and show people what it really means to be Christ's mass. And bring that to the masses as Christ's mass. So I'm going to do the meditation myself today. So let's just get settled in our seats and feel the support of Mother Earth supporting us as we support her right now. If you're feeling tension, meditation requires you to start in relaxation. So if there's any tension you're feeling in your body now, you might want to tighten that up and just kind of release it. Let it go. Now let's take some really deep cleansing breaths. I've learned a new way to breathe in my meditation. It's Dr. Joe Dispenza's Butterworth, where you suck the air up like you're sucking through a straw up into your abdomen. You feel the abdomen expand. You're going to feel your chest expand, and you're going to go up into the throat. And when you get up to the crown, hold it there for a few seconds, and then release. So let's do that 3 times. Suck up that air through the spine all the way up to the top, and hold it and release. Suck that air up, expand the body, get to the crown and hold it and release. One more time. Breathe that air up through the abdomen, expand the chest, expand the throat. Hold at the top, release. I would like us all, in a very childlike way, to repair that place within us, which the legends refer to as the manger in Bethlehem. Jesus simply referred to it as the inner chamber, which he says, enter into and close the door. Turn to this manger consciousness, this quiet, lovely place of pastoral simplicity. And think of it as being people who share shepherds and wise men, referring to thoughts of faith and vision, and thoughts of inspiration and dynamic vitality. Surrounded by sheep, again, referring to the beautiful flow of Christ-like ideas. See, all of this has taken place in your mind. And at the center of it all, a point of light, which the prophet says, man may desecrate but never quite lose. This point of light is the babe in the manger. It's the Christ of itself. Take a look at that point of light. Celebrate it. Worship it. Worship it in the sense of seeing it as something of which you are worthy. This is your worship experience. Recognizing that that light, that spark, that beautiful divine idea is the unborn possibilities of limitless life. And yours is the privilege of giving birth to it, of releasing it. So that, as the story tells us, it may grow in wisdom and statute and favor of man and of God. This God self of you, this divine potential, so that as you go on your way this day, you will feel quickened and inspired and blessed because this something that's happened in you. A quickening fire that strokes up your enthusiasm, your creative juices. All the vital parts of your life flowing, beautifully flowing. And you will go forth from here, walking in ways of vision, and ways of love, and ways of creativity. And your life shall be blessed. And this Christmas for you shall be the most beautiful time of your life. Thank Creator for this realization. Thank Creator for the vision of the Christ child of our hearts. Our own God potential. Thank Creator for the commitment such as Scrooge found to keep Christmas always. And let it be a dynamic influence through all the days of our lives. Thank Creator for the truth that makes us free. And so it is. So we're going to take a few moments just to sit still. And if there's beliefs that are coming up for you that you might want to be releasing so that we can go into the new year, making room and space for our creativity to expand in new ways of belief, in new truths. So I invite you, as you're ready, if there's something to release, come up to the burning bowl and reestablish your divine truth by lighting your candle.